Well, can we play Middlesbrough every week was the chant from the Blackburn fans. But whilst it was a win, it also highlighted the urgency for a striker. We'll get these three to give their news on that as Harry returns to our podcast with Jason and Mark. And we're asking them for their December Player of the Month. Put yours in the chat below. AI predicts our home fixtures. Just how many more points will Rovers get at Ewood? And we're going to help make the worst ever Blackburn 11 of the Championship era because it is the worst month in January. More on that at the end of the video. Stay tuned for that. You can massively help us, of course, this week because we're trying to get to our magic target of 100 subscribers. Can you help us get there? We're so close, and we're so grateful for all the comments and all the love that we get on here. But can you get us to 100? Welcome back, Harry. We need to get your views on the derby first before we talk about Middlesbrough. We didn't manage to catch you. Any thought?
Forgotten about now.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
I thought we had first half we played pretty well. I thought if anyone looked like they were going to take the lead in that first half, I thought it would have been us. Then they scored, completely changed the game. And that's as much as I'd like to say about the matter, to be honest.
Okay, good. We forgot about it and we'll move on. I still think there's going to be retribution for that. Either the FA Cup or a playoff final.
I really thought we were going to get him in the FA Cup. I'm so
they were cock-a-hoop. We actually posed, did they take that celebration too far is their question, and it was some of the fans were saying it didn't go far. Didn't go far enough, and they should have done a Souness and planted it in the centre circle.
We need welcome to hell banners for next time.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, Todd Cantwell needs to be plotting something now. Right, let's jump in. Let's jump into the Middlesbrough. Tom's not here today because he's got his daughter is unwell. So let's get well, Mini Tom. Let's ask you about Middlesbrough then, Jason. Middlesbrough fans are fed up of you. Got to be honest with you, they don't want to see you again. But you deserve that. Should you have scored? Should have won by more, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I think, like you said in the opener, really, it highlights a need for a striker. But that's been the tale of the last few weeks. Missing chances like that. It's just what we've been doing. But that result and that game's little reminiscent of when we went on our 1-0 win run. Missing chances. I mean, Middlesbrough had a few chances themselves, really, as well. I thought Middlesbrough started better. I think Varman had to score after that. I thought that was a penalty. Me, myself, the first chance he missed. I know he did make a hash of it. I think he should be doing better and he should just be putting that away. But I think it was a penalty, the first one anyway. So the fact he got his goal, I think, was justice on it. I think... But the blonde hair, I don't know why they all just don't dye their hair blonde. We don't need a striker at all.
Oh God, it really doesn't suit him, does it?
Keep scoring, it suits him.
Kyle says, Kyle gets a tweet on here nearly every week. Hi, Kyle. Better second half. Let's be honest, though, it's Borough reserves. What serves them right, really, is they were awful. We're in the hat for the next round. All that matters, desperately need another striker, though, then. Mark, what's the latest on this? We'll come on to your new signings in a minute. Oh, so I've changed the order on there, sorry. What's the latest, Mark? And any strikers that, we're hearing any whispers of at all?
One or two. I think our former player, Ben Brereton Díaz, was linked over the weekend, wasn't he? So I think we're one of a number of Championship clubs interested. But other than that, I've not seen too many names branded about. I know we've got a couple of signings in, but from what I can gather, they're just low-cost signings, and the budget is being saved to obviously go out and sign a striker. I know we talked last week on here with a couple of potentials, Morgan Whittaker, but again, he's been linked with those lot down the road. So I don't know, to be honest. I think it's just a case of it. Hopefully, the club are working on it. Hopefully they've got something lined up, ready. And apparently, the budget is there. I don't know what the budget is, but there's something there to spend. And let's just hope we do get somebody in. But yeah, again, the game on at the weekend, it highlights massively that we desperately need another striker, and we've probably been speaking about this for weeks now. So we'll wait and see. But I can't see Brereton Díaz coming back One, I don't think he would be interested in coming back, and two, I just don't think we'd be able to afford any part of his wages. So I think if he does move back to the Championship, it'll probably be back to somebody like Sheffield United. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But fingers crossed. Hopefully, we'll maybe next week or the week after we'll be on here and we'll be talking about what a brilliant striker we've signed and But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, to be honest.
Okay, in the comments, let us know the striker that you would love to see in the blue and white. Harry, the draw gave you Wolves at home in the next round. Was that possibly one of the worst draws you could have got?
I mean, it's not great. I mean, it could have been worse. It's a Premier League side. I think that's always you never want to play a team in the same division as you. I mean, as far as for entertainment value, if you play them twice a season anyway, you don't want to play them again. I mean, it's not the biggest draw. I don't think it's going to inspire that many people, and they've seemed to turn a corner now. Wolves, if we were playing them back end of when O'Neill was in charge, probably would have fancied us to give them a decent game. Still think we probably will give them a good go, but under their new manager, they seem a completely different outfit, and they've seem to have turned a corner. So it'll be a difficult game, but not one that Rovers are completely out of already. It's definitely a game that they come to Ewood if we've got a decent crowd at Ewood for the game, then I think we could definitely give them a good game and potentially beat them. It would be tough though.
Right. Let's stay with you, Harry, for these new signings and two in, which is, I mean, I like Rovers' business recently. In the summer it was good, and you did it early, and you're doing it early again in January. Somebody's doing something up at the top level. Dion Sanderson, John Eustace says Dion's going to come in and help drive the group. He can play right back, centre half, and he's really versatile. We'll talk about Adam Forshaw in a minute. A great character who's going to help the group we've got. Obviously, Harry's got a relationship with Eustace from his time at Birmingham. I'll be honest, our Birmingham fans don't rate him at all. So he's very, very error prone. What's your view of this signing? Is this a squad signing rather than a first team one?
Yeah, well, I assume he's going to come in and replace McFadden, who seems to be out the door. So he's sort of their backup, and Eustace knows how to get the best out of him. But yeah, I know a lot of Birmingham fans, they don't rate him, but his best football he's played in his career pretty much has been under Eustace. So if anyone can get a tune out of him, probably he can. The funny thing is, actually, being from Birmingham, I bumped into him 2 weeks ago. All my mates were like, "Oh, we'll go get a photo with his ex-footballer." I was like, "Oh, I don't want a photo with him. He's a nobody." 2 weeks later, he signs for us. Yeah, should have done. But yeah, I think he can. He's definitely got a part to fill as well. He's got a bit more experience, younger than McFadden, so it brings that average age of the squad down. So if he can replicate that form that he played for Eustace at Birmingham, then as a squad signing on a relatively cheap, I don't know. I think is it a free loan deal? I think that's it's not a bad signing at all. It's a low risk signing certainly anyway.
Yeah, okay. That covers that one. Jason, can you take Adam Forshaw for us? What is he going to give you that you haven't got at the moment?
I think what he gives us is experience in midfield. He's not going to come in and he ain't going to dislodge Johnstad or Travis, let's be honest, when Travis is fit. I think he's a perfect... He's 33. He's got 3 promotions on his CV. He's played in the Premier League for Leeds. There's a lot of experience to bring on that last 15 minutes of a game when you're 1-0 up, 2-1 up. You're trying to close the game out. You just need calm heads, middle of the field, just to do the basics right. And I think that's where he's going to be used. I think he's going to be used very strategically to close games out. I don't think he's going to... He won't be the first name on the team sheet, but he's another squad signing. And I think we don't really have old midfielders, really. That's the Tronstad's oldest, I would say. 29, is he just turned 29? Yeah. So to bring someone in with that much on his CV for half a season, I've heard he's on about 6k a week. It's another low-risk signing. It gets numbers through the door, gets experience through the door, which we're going to lose with McFadden. I think for what it's costed, I think it's a good signing.
Okay. Other transfer news, Mark. I want to talk to you about Baker, if that's okay. He went back to Stoke on Stoke on Trent. What was your thoughts on that? Some fans were puzzled by it. Other fans were going, well, he's not really done much in the games that we've seen him.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was a squad player, wasn't he? And obviously, up until recently, he was filling in whilst Travis has been injured, and I think that's why Rovers have acted quickly again. Obviously, getting Forshaw in with Baker going back, so again, it's a bit like for like, really. Bit of an older head in there. Eustace seems to like his bit of experience and that bit of leadership. He does talk about leadership in the dressing room quite a lot, but I think obviously with Stoke getting a new manager in Mark Robbins, he's probably just wanting to take a look at all the players that he's got available. Obviously recalled him. It might be a player that he fancies and he gets back into the Stoke team. So it's not a huge loss to Rovers. Obviously the timing wasn't great, but because we've acted quickly in getting that in Forshaw in as that squad replacement, again at low risk cost, it's one of them. But I don't think anybody's going to be. I don't think you get too. Very rare you get too attached to loan players. You know, there might be the exception where he's been outstanding. You sad to see him go, but when they've only been at the club for 3-4 months and played a handful of games, you're not really that fussed, really.
Okay. All right, then let's focus on the next game. The return to the Championship. It's Oxford United away, a first trip to the Kassam for Blackburn for many years. Now, we can't give betting advice on this channel, but if we did, we'd be saying take your £10 this weekend and put it on Oxford 0, Blackburn 0. Carrie Rowett versus John Eustace is not going to produce a 4-3 thriller. I'll guarantee under 2.5 goals is an absolute certainty this weekend. Let's remind ourselves, Harry, of what happened last time you met them. It was a hot August day back when Mark Harris scored from nearly the halfway line. I think it was in the reverse fixture. Then of course you went on to win that. Have a look at that Blackburn side though on that day. How does that pale in comparison to the one you think is going to trot up to the three-sided Kassam on Saturday?
Well, it's injuries really that's going to change that. I'm looking at there: Carter, Pickering, Travis, and Ahashi all out injured at the minute. So yeah, it's a different team, but a team that's been playing together for quite a while. Carter's been out for a while, so Bath's come straight in there. Since this game, Beck's become the first choice left back. Really, that's been the main back four for the whole season. Obviously, with Travis being out, you'd expect Buckley to come back in. I wouldn't be surprised if that midfield three stayed relatively similar. I wouldn't be surprised if Campbell got a rest in a game like that. You've seen a little bit of a drop in the performances since his sort of the height of maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I think Rankin Costello had a good game against Borough. And up front, obviously with Ahashi out, you'd imagine Gay would be up front. I didn't think Leonard set the world alight in the game against Borough. And I think he will be the first choice striker while Ahashi's unavailable unless we get someone else in.
Okay. Mark, your home form has flipped on its head a little bit. It's actually away form now. That's, we have a look at this. Last 7 away games: beat Cardiff, beat Middlesbrough, beat Hull, beat Sheffield Wednesday, lost to Millwall, drew against Leeds, beat Borough again. I mean, what is it about you on the road? It's just so impressive, and it's the home form is now flipped, hasn't it? And it's now the away form. We look to Blackburn. What do you put that down to?
I think it's just the way we set up. I think we talked about it a number of weeks ago, but I think obviously the way that Eustace sets up away from home, keep it tight. Again, you see a lot. Again, we've had a couple of 0-0s this season. And I do think once we go in front and get that 1-0, we're very, we are pretty difficult to break down after that. And like again on Middlesbrough, when we went 1-0 up, nowadays I think actually now under Eustace, we'll see that out and we'll get that 1-0 win. And I think, like I said, it's flipped with the home form as well, because I think sometimes. Obviously, we've got to go at teams a little bit more at home, and obviously, like the Hull and Burnley games where we've been beaten 1-0 recently, once those teams go in front, then we struggle to kind of get back into it. So I think it's just basically the setup and obviously getting well organised defensively, working hard. As you said, Oxford's going to be a very, very similar game as well at the weekend. Again, whoever gets the first goal, it could be a 1-0 either way. So yeah, I think it's just basically how we're set up under Eustace.
We've asked AI, Jason, to predict all of Blackburn's home games to come. Here's what it said. I mean, look, before we get into the points, your home games to come are, looking at it, look at the positions. I know anyone can beat anyone in the league, but there's only Borough in 5th there, and then the next one down is Sheffield.
Playing them though, Matt, to be fair.
Yeah,
we're playing Borough, so that's fine. They could be first. It's fine.
Absolutely. Portsmouth, Coventry, Preston, Plymouth, Cardiff, Sheffield Wednesday, Millwall, Watford. I mean, all of these they're all winnable, aren't they, Jason? Yeah. I mean, AI is actually predicting 20 points. They've only said you'll lose against Sheffield United. I didn't say Sheffield United on there, so they got that wrong. Yeah, your draw against Borough and your draw against Norwich is what they're predicting. 20 points. You'd take that now, Jason, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I mean, what would that put us on? What would that put us on? 59. So yeah, absolutely take it. I think the key's been, and it's been the key to our away form is if we're not going to. As soon as we turned our form around, it's frustrated. The opponent seems to be our main priority, and then pick them off. Because it's like when a team's on top, they start getting overconfident, they overload because they can't break you down, and then suddenly it's 4-on-3, 4-on-2 at the back, and we're very good at counter-attacking this year. So I think they'll all be tight games. You look on paper that you think they're winnable. We're not winning anything convincingly at the moment. Everything we're doing is hard work. We're playing our way, which is frustrating at times, but it's getting results certainly away from all. If we can flip that home form, it could make or break our playoff push, really, especially if we keep the away form going.
All right. Brilliant. Thank you very much, you three. Some quick ones to finish then. We need a December player of the month off all of you. Briefly, if that's okay. Mark, kick this one off.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Danny Batt. I think for the much of December, especially at the early stages, I think who did we play? Hull away, Luton. I think we kept about three clean sheets early to mid-December. I think Danny Batt was instrumental during that period. Obviously, his goal at Leeds, I know it was New Year's Day, but obviously he got that goal right at the end of the 93rd minute, whatever it was. So yeah, I think he's been a bit of an unsung hero. So I'm going to go with Danny Batt.
Harry?
It's a good shout, actually. I hadn't considered Batt. He didn't cross my mind. When I was thinking about it, I was really struggling. I went for Ainsley Pears. I thought at the end of the day, he has certainly start of the month. I think it was sort of Sheffield Wednesday and Luton we played at the start of the month. I think he was really good in both of them. That game against Sunderland on Boxing Day with that last-minute save were saved as the point. It was a really difficult one to pick from, but just sort of based on the whole season, really. But this month as well, I think Pears has deserved the credit. He's been so much more improved than the player he was last season.
And Jason?
First of all, I think Mark has made you say Ainsley Pears there, because every week Mark is the only one who gives him any credit, and he's not even a Blackburn fan.
I'll take that 10 later.
I feel bad for calling him a rubbish keeper in the first ever episode.
I'm with Mark here, Dan. Ainsley Pears, I think it's an 180-degree turn from where he was last season. So he does deserve credit massively for some of our results. But Danny Batt, for me, I just think he's been brilliant since he come in. Because I don't think he was brought in to be that mainstay in the first team. I don't think that was the plan. But now I can see why we were trying to sign 12 months ago. I can't. He's just got that last-ditch defending. He's always in the right place. He's always there for a block. Every block seems to be him or Tronstad. They just throw themselves at everything. So yeah, Danny Burt for me.
I think the word is Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
Lastly, then, to conclude, we are in January. It's a rubbish month. No one's got any money. It's cold and miserable. So we thought we'd kind of mirror that by coming up this month with the worst Blackburn side of the last 20 years of the Championship, and obviously Premier League a little bit as well there since 2004 when the Championship began. So we need a goalkeeper first. Obviously, that's where we start. So looking back at all the goalkeepers of the last 20 years or so, who's the one stinking one that deserves to be in this worst ever 11? You've had some good ones, let's be fair, but who would you put in there? Briefly, if we can. Jason.
Last season's Ainsley Purrs, and I'm staying at that. I'm not explaining it. I'm not. That's my pick.
Right, Harry.
I'll go last season as well, but I'll go for the other keeper. I'll go for Leo Woolstead. He came in bit of an unknown and left even more unknown. And I've just checked, and he's second choice at best for a team mid-table in the Danish league. So I think that's it.
Okay, this is everything. Mark?
I was going to go Wallstead as well. Like that, he was giving me a lot of palpitations in a lot of games last season. Every time that the ball came into the box. So I was going to go with him. But there's one that sticks out from about 10 years ago, so going a bit further back. I don't know if the other two lads will agree with this, but Jake Keane. I wasn't a big fan of him at all. I think he was. I don't think he was a good goalkeeper at all. I think it was the first or the second season when we came down from the Premier League, so about 2013-14. He was a poor keeper in my opinion. So I'm going to go with him.
Okay, was it Steve Keane's son or brother?
No, but obviously the name doesn't help, does it? You don't
have a good look at the Keanes, do you?
Not at all, no.
Right. Let us know in the comments below if you can beat either of those two. Otherwise, that's what's going to go into it. We'll put one on the bench as well. Right. We need two strikers next week. Join us for that. Two strikers. We're doing a 4-4-2. The worst two strikers to play for Blackburn. Don't put Guy in there. I can't cope with that.
It's easy. That's so easy.
Do not put Guy in a Hashi in it at all. Two other strikers, please. See you next week. Have a good trip to Oxford. Those of you going, safe travels to all Blackburn Rovers fans. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Thanks for watching.